Guys, I'm Adviti Singh and I'm here to tell you about code.org. So this is a website that you can look for, and basically it helps for coding and making websites and many more things. So let me introduce you, and this video is basically for beginners. So let's start. So this is your website. You can just open this website by writing on Google code.org and press enter, and this field comes. Now what you need to do is you need to first sign in to continue. So here I go. You if you don't have an account, then you have to make it, or then I'll continue from Google itself. I have my own account. Now this is the dashboard of code.org. So let's continue. Here you can basically, there are sections, or you can say programs in which you can create your things. So these are called these labs. There's basically Sprite Lab, Artist, App Lab, Game Lab, many more things. So to start from this, we will first start a project from Sprite Lab. Now let me introduce you to this Sprite Lab. This is the screen. Every time you open a project, you need to remix, but when it is already remixed, don't need to do that. So here I can see it's a remix one. This is the screen where the output comes. This is the where we put the input and write our code, and these are the blocks. This is called the workspace. So to start and thing, there are three things in this coding. That is background, the settings we say, which is the background, then sprites, characters in our story, and then behaviors, what they do. These are the three main things in this coding. So we will first start from the setting. So setting, you can set the background. If you go on the world, here there are options, like many options over here. So the first option, set background to, we shall select this one, and this appears. So we can choose our own background, like perhaps I want this one or this one, whatever you like. And if there are not enough, you can choose in backgrounds. When you click on this button, this page appears, and we are on this third side, if you see. So this is the first one, code. This is the second one, costumes, that I'll introduce you later on. And the third one is backgrounds. Now we need to click on a new background, and then there are two options. Either we can draw, or we can upload that we have in our desktop for like, and then you have this dialog appears and you can choose your image, or else you can choose any image. For example, I want a forest image, so I think this one would be better for me, or perhaps this one. Then I shall click on done, and as you see here, this appears. Now we shall go back on code, and the first option comes to our background. We can set it off. Next comes the characters. So we need to add sprites and many more things. So we will click on sprites. Then the first option, make a new sprite at this. So as you can see, the sprite is flying and floating in the air. So I don't want it to be there. To change its position, we have this kind of thing. We press on the spin button and we can place our sprite whenever we want. So here's my sprite, and perhaps I don't want this one, like I want this one, so I can choose whatever. Here are also many options, and as I have said you, I'll explain this costumes later. So now we'll see. If we want an extra one, we'll click on costumes, and the same things happens over here itself. You can either upload or draw your own or select from this. So perhaps I want a lion. So as you see, I think this image will be best. Any right, whatever I need to add or draw, I can just make it. So I can even draw my own character, but since I found my character, so I'm already done. Now let's go back. So at the first option, if you see, here's our line, and now you see this line of ours is very little, so we need to make it bigger. To make it bigger, we will go in the sprites option. Here there is an option called set size to dash, so we shall click on this. Now, first we shall select our character. Then over here there should be size, and over here we can put our size like perhaps 100 or 200, whatever we feel nice. So I think 200 is fine for me. Now, as you see, my line is there. Now, as I have set my size, this is my whole background. So I can name it. Now, what to do in this? We need to make a story. So these are the main parts that I told you. Please watch my another video to make a story and explore more in this. I shall tell you about many other things like loops, variables, and behaviors. Of course, behaviors. This is the third thing. Sprite begins. Yeah. So now I want my lion to start walking or running or like do some action. So that's the third thing about coding, and that's called behaviors. So whenever we want to start a behavior or an action done by our character, the first and the foremost we need to click on this. That is the sprite begins option. Now we shall select our lion image because you have to keep in mind that the image should be same. Now again we'll have to go in the behaviors icon, and when you scroll down you can see there are many behaviors. So I better take move east or move north or whatever. Let me select it again. Shrinking, swim, there, wandering. I shall select wandering. Now let's see. Now as you can see, a line is wandering here and there. So this is our project, and to be continued, we will see. Of course. Now I want to add another line first. For sake, like I also want two lines in my story, so it will be difficult to give behaviors and actions. So we will go to in the sprites option very down. We will see here there is an option called make a new sprite called my sprite with costume, this teddy bear, add this. Now if you see, we can now name our sprite. Like I want another lion. So let me just rename it somewhere. What just okay. Now as you see, I brought it to this place. Now there are two lines. Now I have to rename this, and I'll click on rename this sprite, which is called, I think I'll name it as lion 2, and then click on create. And the same goes for this line. And for this line, I think I'll rename this as lion 1, and then I'll click on create. Now you see there are two lines, and I better put them in position. Now if you see, if we I want one of my line to be small and one to be big, that cannot be possible because if we put the image, both of them will be grown and shrink. So what we need to do is we need to remove this picture and put their name. So how we'll do that? We'll go in the sprites option. There's an option called my sprite, and we will attach it over here. Now we can choose the name. For example, I want the line 1 to be at 200 size, and the line, and for the lion 2, I want it to be a bit smaller, perhaps. Like 100, perhaps. Or maybe 150. Yeah. So that's how we can say our names and all and all. So see you next time. Bye.